Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited because it's time to pick my May TBR. Now my May TBR has been a bit hijacked because I've come back to the UK. That means I've got some physical books that I haven't read and they're just sitting there waiting for me, and when I leave the UK I might not be able to fit them in my suitcase again. So I'm going to try and read them whilst I'm home. So no fun number generator or TBR cards this month. It is just what I'm reading. Let's get into it. Okay, first up we have Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is a retelling of The Queen of Hearts. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling that focuses on the Queen of Hearts before she was the Queen of Hearts. It sort of gives us a backstory to her and why she became who she is. I think this is a really fun concept. I actually think it's part of a wider collection of books that Marissa Meyer has done, telling us all about the fairy tale villains. She's like come up with lots of stories retelling the narratives of the fairy tale villains, and I think that's so fun and I'm very excited to read this one. It is the longest standing book on my TBR, so I'm really going to prioritise reading it. It was actually given to me by Georgia Recommends, my bestie, so I'm excited. Next up we have a classic, which is super useful because if you've been following me and watching my videos, you know I'm trying to read 6 classics this year, and in May I need to read a classic in order to be on track. This book is Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey. I'm so excited to read this one. It is apparently very different to her other work. It's more of a satirical novel, I think. It's basically about this girl, Catherine, and I'm guessing that's Catherine, and Catherine falls in love and then goes to this guy's house, which is Northanger Abbey, his house, his abbey, and she's really into gothic novels, and then she becomes really suspicious of this house and what's going on and his family, and is sort of trying to uncover secrets. Yeah, I don't really know where this book's gonna go, but I'm definitely intrigued by it, that's for sure, and I'm going to annotate it, and yeah, it should be a good fun read and help me get to that goal of reading 6 classics this year. Next up we have The Adventures of Amina al-Safiri. I think that's pronounced right. It might also not be, so yeah, I'm not sure. It's such a beautiful book. Look at it. Isn't it so pretty? That's definitely not the reason I bought it. Let me just also say, I know I'm not meant to be starting any new series, but this book has sat here on my shelf unread for over a year, and I've been off gallivanting around the world, and it's felt sad that I have not read it, and if I go off and leave it behind again, it's going to sit there for even longer. So I feel that I need to read this book. Even though I'm not meant to be starting series, I think there's a justifiable excuse in there somewhere. So I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to read this book. Anyway, this is a fantasy novel about pirates, which I have never read before. I've never read a pirate fantasy, so I'm very intrigued. The main character is Amina al-Safiri, and she is basically a pirate, and she's like one of the best pirates in the world, and she's like lived this amazing pirate life, and she's going to retire because, you know, she's lived her life now. She's done everything there is to do. She's happy with her life and is going to retire until she gets one last job, and there's a big reward for this job, so she's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. This is going to give me the best retirement. But this last job is not everything it seems to be, and apparently, well, I'm guessing some things go wrong, and yeah, this book basically follows that one last hurrah that turns out to be more complex than first thought. So yeah, I'm very intrigued. I don't know what to expect from this one, but maybe I'll be a like pirate fantasy lover by the end of this book. So next up we have a non-fiction book, How Emotions Are Made by Lisa Feldman Barrett. I bought this because I read her other book, which she actually released after this one, called 7.5 Lessons About the Brain, and I really enjoyed it. It was such a good book, and it was so complex but equally so digestible, so understandable, so like user friendly if you're not someone from a science background without a big like scientific knowledge or scientific vocabulary, aka me. I'm not a scientist of any sort of means. Like, my science ended at GCSE level, and yet that book was so understandable. So yeah, I loved that, and I'm hoping this one is going to be the same. I also picked this up because I think it'll be good for me as a teacher. I think it'll be, I'm calling this book CPD basically. I'll let you guys know what I think of it. I'll definitely let you know if I recommend it for other teachers to read or not. Yeah, super exciting. So our next book sounds so unique. It's actually a book that I won at a Waterstones event, which is so fun. It's called The 13th Child, and basically it's about Hazel, who is our main character, and she is the 13th child. She's the 13th sibling, and as a result of this, she becomes Death's goddaughter, who is a person in this world, and that means that he gives her a role for her like adult life, and she has to become a healer. But part of her role as being a healer is she has to, like, some people that she goes to heal them and they're going to die, like there's nothing she can do about it. Death has already claimed them, and she has to be the person to pass them on to Death. And then she has like all these ghosts haunting her, and anyway, I think that's all explained like quite early on in the book. She has this one person, a prince, who is destined for death, and she has to basically decide, is she going to try and save him, because I think that's what she wants to do, or is she going to do her job as a healer properly and pass him on to Death? And I think she basically lives this like cursed life, and it's just an exploration of that. And doesn't that sound like such a unique concept? Yeah, I'm certainly intrigued by this one. It's quite a big book. Yeah, I'm so intrigued by this one. It says at the top here, when death calls, she must answer. The breathtaking fairy tale retelling readers have been waiting for. Oh, it's a retelling. I wonder what it's a retelling of. Does it say? Should we have a quick Google? It is a retelling. It's a retelling of the Grimm brothers story, Godfather Death, which I've not heard of. So that's why I didn't recognise it as a retelling. I'd never heard of that, so maybe I'll read that after I've read the retelling. Next up, we have a super exciting book. We have a book that was written by my friend. Someone I used to work with in London has written a book, which is so exciting. I actually met her when she was writing this and sort of saw the process she was going through, which was super inspiring, and it's amazing that now like all that hard work she put in is literally in my hands. Yeah, so wonderful. This book is basically all about Taylor Swift and her journey through the different eras of her career. I don't know that much about like the different eras. Like I know them like as like a distanced fan. Like I love Taylor Swift's music. I will like party along, but I don't know much more than that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to read this one. It's also a really like pretty book. It's just so nice. Super exciting. I might actually read this one this month, like in April before the month's up, because I think it's going to be my next read. But if not, it's definitely on my May TBR. Okay, so the next one we have is so exciting. It's Medici Heist, and it is a heist novel set in Florence in 1517. So it is Renaissance Italy, the time of art and birth and arts and politics, all of which the Medici family in real life were at the centre of. This is basically a heist to go and steal things from them, and it's got other real characters in too, like the artist Michelangelo. Apparently this, I don't think this is any of this is factual, it's just a story. He joins and goes on the heist against the Medici family, and it's so cool. It's such a cool concept. This is the author's debut novel, however she is a co-writer on Stranger Things, so that's pretty cool. I think it's going to be a bit spooky, and it's going to be a bit of a thriller, but also like historical fiction, and I'm excited to read it. Some people will probably look at this and be like, that's not a thriller at all. If you're me and you're a wimp, this is a bit of a thriller because it's got murder on the back. Next up we have Do Less by Kate Northrup. This is actually a reread. However, the reason I want to reread it is basically because it says here revolutionary. It did feel so revolutionary when I read it. It's basically all about female health and your period and your monthly cycle and the different stages of that, and how you can basically develop your life around your cycle. Like there are times of the month where you are going to be less productive, but there are times where you're going to be more productive. And I literally remember reading this like, wow, this is incredible, I'm going to change my life. Read it, forgot about it, action nothing. Here we are. It's a few years on. I want to understand all of this more, and I want to action actually what I read. So I'm going to reread it again, and this time take notes and see if I can use this approach to change my life. Okay, next up we have Simon Sebag-Montefior's The World, A Family History. And this monster of a book basically documents the history of the family unit throughout all of time across the entire globe. Hence the size. As you might be able to see, I have started it like a year ago and I didn't get very far. Guys, I'm scared. I can't lie. I'm not generally scared of big books. Like if it's a fantasy that's massive, I used to be, but then I started reading them, and yeah, I just sort of, now it doesn't bother me how long a fantasy is. I know it's not going to affect my enjoyment, and I just read it when I know I've got more time. But this is huge. The pages are still very thin and the font is small. It has how many? Let's look at how many pages it has. 1,263 pages, and they're heavy. Like the content is heavy, fascinating, amazing, heavy. I actually went to the Waterstones event for the release of this book and watched Simon Sebag Montefiore talk about it, and it does sound so interesting, and I know I'm going to really enjoy it, like listening to him talk, and he is so clever, and this is such an ambitious and amazing project. I want to read it. I just need to get over the fear and get on with it, essentially. I think I don't want to chip away at it or just power through. I will let you know how I get on with this one. I don't know if I will finish it by the end of May. I think it might be a May and June TBR book because it's a monster, but we will see. I'm super excited about it. That is the last one on my TBR for this month. One thing I will say is that TBR is quite heavy. It's got quite a lot of non-fiction on there, quite a lot of fantasy, a classic. Yeah, I think I might end up getting a few more like light reads to sprinkle in as like palette cleansers, because I just think that as a TBR is too ambitious. I do want to read all of those books before I leave the UK again, which is rough, a bit less than 2 months, but I think I'll put in some romances and stuff in that time. Not just romances, but maybe some lighter fantasies, and like Heartless is a good one. That's probably a good palette cleanser, I imagine. Or like even just some books that just, I don't know, maybe some literary fiction. I love literary fiction and there's none in there, and even though that can be quite heavy, it's just different. I find it really hard to just read like that much fantasy, especially as the sun is coming out. It's spring, it's not fantasy season, but that's what's on my TBR. Oh well, I'm gonna have a great time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. It does make such a difference to this channel, and it's so great growing this community. I'm loving making these videos for you. Yeah, it's so much fun. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Comment a purple heart, because it's a purple kind of day. And let me know if you've read any of these books or a book you are very excited to read this month. Happy reading!